Welcome to another episode of the Quest Me podcast, where we take you on a quest through legends and new canon. My name is Josh, and I'm your forever host and friend. And of course, I'm here to talk about all of the fun Ahsoka predictions and, previews, I guess. But of course, we can't discuss all of that without my lovely co-host and, like I said, Slayer of knowledge. His name is Phil. How are you doing, sir?
I am not muted. I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I am great. I am so excited to be back in the saddle, as they say, and ready to talk about some Star Wars.
Hell yeah.
Sure. And of course, we can't do this without at least a third person. Unfortunately, our resident hero, Justin, couldn't make it tonight. He is out doing the hero thing, saving lives, all that stuff. So we brought in a newly frequent quester. His name is Ro. He's from the Scarif podcast. How are you doing today, sir?
What's happening, everybody? Glad to be here. I'm so happy that I said yes to tonight. I was thinking it was like going to be like maybe next week, a Saturday, a Thursday, a Friday, but you're like, oh no, I failed to mention it's tonight. I'm like, yes, I'm in. Excellent.
Rose said yes to the mess.
Always.
Yeah. And originally we were actually supposed to talk about the third book in the Hand of Thrawn series tonight. We were going to do our Last Command review. But again, Justin couldn't make it, and he's the whole reason we're reading those books because he's never read them. So,
Rose, should I remind him that that's not actually the Hand of Thrawn series?
Go for it. I wasn't going to say anything. I'm a guest.
Hand of Thrawn is the duology that comes after.
my bad.
Fact checking. That's why Phil's here.
That's why
You
Phil's here.
bring
Yeah,
me on
exactly.
for book information, man. I'm here
No,
for book
thank you.
information.
Thanks for reminding me of that. I need to go delete every single tweet that I have posted about the Hand of Thrawn trilogy. Speaking of tweets, you can find Quest Me on Twitter. I wouldn't do Facebook right now, but Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that. Just search Quest Me Podcast. My Facebook got hacked last week,
yeah.
and it's
Bummer.
gone. So
I
the Quest Me
know
page
someone
is
took
still
off and
up.
nuked the site from orbit.
Yeah, seriously. The Quest Me page is still there, but I can't do anything with it. So, you could follow it and stuff, but there's not going to be any updates anytime soon. So,
What kind of enemies have you made there, Josh? What's going on?
I don't know. According to Facebook, it's people in Vietnam. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So follow us on Twitter, and I would say Twitter and TikTok are the best places to follow us, and YouTube, because that's where we go live.
We have a smart aleck in the chat that says he's never heard of Twitter.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people in the chat. We got Amanda, we got Andrew, we got Extra Star Wars.
That is
Do we know that person?
our personal Red 5 Network techie guy, Sean over there at Extra Star
Nice.
Wars.
Gotcha. What's
It's,
up, y'all?
Yeah, it's great to have you guys in here. We are excited to go into this whole preview. But before
first,
we do, we always have a fun little segment. Yes, it's a bar far away, and we are talking about what we're drinking tonight. So, Phil, what are we drinking tonight?
So I call this one a Tatooine dream. It's ice water.
That's amazing.
Nice.
A
No,
Tatooine dream.
but
That's the best name for ice water I think ever.
but in all seriousness, I actually have something that I just came up with earlier tonight. So I have one planned for when we do our Last Command recap, but I had to scratch that for reasons.
Well, yeah.
So we're
And of
saving
course-
that one for
and
later.
Of course, you're going to be around for Ahsoka a lot.
Of
so,
course.
Duh.
So
There'll be some other
this is something I have named after our favorite Padawan from back when she was one. I call it Snips.
Oh, nice.
It is blue curacao and vanilla liqueur and orange juice. So it's um,
Not
kind of
too strong.
sweet, not too strong,
Yeah.
kind of sweet, uh, but could develop into something. Could eventually become more.
Yeah.
It has
Nice.
potential.
I'm just drinking what is pineapple guppy or something? I don't know. There's
You
this
found pineapple beer.
yeah, it's an IPA. It's fine. It's
Okay.
fancy.
Okay.
Yeah. There's this there's this liquor store that was it used to be a Toys R Us.
Yay, capitalism.
Good old Nebraska turned it into a liquor store. And now they have like you remember like the giraffe and all those animals from Toys R Us? They're all hanging out in front of liquor displays now. It's pretty funny.
That's
But,
kind of amazing.
But yeah,
But yeah,
so
no, it's pretty simple. Just those three things, just equal parts of each one.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that the recipe goes into the show notes if y'all want to make one yourselves. And as always, drink responsibly.
yeah. I remember the first like 4 times we did that segment, Phil didn't say drink responsibly.
And then I realized, hey, maybe I should, say something and not just come across like a raging
Yeah.
alcoholic over here. Because
Little disclaimer. Yeah.
little disclaimer.
Hell in
looks like
a
Ro-
hell in a handbasket. Hell in a handbasket. Yeah.
Looks like Ro over there's drinking a rum and coke.
Well, it's a little iced tea with rum and a nice mixture of coconut liqueur. I call it Debbie Does Dantooine.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that a lot. That's wonderful.
That's pretty good, bro.
a little Star Wars drink there.
Yeah. I have a few other things kind of on deck that I've been working on over the summer, but none of them are actually like Star Wars themed. So
Not yet,
I've
you
been,
mean?
well, not yet. No, so I am throwing an application out at another local bartender competition that's coming up in October.
Oh, nice. You won that
Um,
one last year.
I
So,
won the preliminary, came in second place in the final.
yeah. well,
Um, and so now this is a bigger one. Those other ones were like plan it all in advance, have everything batched and ready to go,
okay,
and then
okay.
make it for the judges too. But have them, have basically samples available.
Gotcha.
This new one is more like an Iron Chef kind of thing with like a mystery ingredient and everything.
Oh, nice.
So
All right.
yeah, like I said,
Well-
I'm throwing an application at it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you have to keep us posted on that for
Oh,
sure.
of course.
So, but for now, that's great. All of us are drinking some sort of fancy little drink. So,
And
with
we're
that
doing
being
it,
said-
and we're doing it responsibly.
Yes.
yeah, responsible.
I
in
am
our
not
houses.
driving.
I'm not driving either. I have a new backdrop behind me. It's not a green screen anymore. There's actual
Very nice.
stuff back there.
Very
I
nice.
have my same
Yeah,
backdrop,
yeah.
but that's okay because I'm still playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom.
Which is, man, I beat that game and put it down. I was like, nope, I'm done. 250 hours, I'm over it.
No, I got all the
So-
light roots, and now I'm tracking down all the rest of the shrines.
Oh, God. Good luck.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I'm playing completionist.
Oh, jeez. Something that I'm not over yet is Star Wars and Ahsoka. And I am really excited to get this show on the road. Like, it's what, 8 days away, 7
Let's
days
do
away,
it. Let's
something
do
like
it.
that.
Yeah. Single digits.
Yes, which is perfect. And I have a feeling it's going to be a really, really fun ride. We're kind of getting our version of, in my notes it says the Hand of Thrawn, but clearly I know that that's not right anymore. But we're getting like our live action version of that Thrawn trilogy from back in the day. I think this could be the series to rule all series, if you know what I mean. The one to kind of dump all the fan service into, the one to most likely make or break the Disney Star Wars run. Would you
It
guys
is-
agree with that, or am I off base here?
Look,
I think we're close.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. I think for me, I'm always excited to experience new Star Wars until I experience it, and it is
and then
what it
it's
is. And then
dependent on your expectations at that point.
right. But I mean, look at my backdrop. I love Star Wars. So um yeah, so I'm always happy to accept what's new. I'm excited for Ahsoka. I'm excited for now that I've seen the trailer from Celebration for Acolyte, I'm kind of a little excited for Acolyte. I'm excited for Skeleton Crew because it's new Star Wars. I mean, you know, that it's as simple as that. Will it be good? Well, the jury's still out. Let's hope it is. I'm always hoping that Star Wars is going to be good. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and we're always hoping
I'm
that the new Star Wars is going to be good for sure. And
I'm
for the most
intrigued
part,
by
the last
I'm
couple
intrigued
years
by
have been
Skeleton
okay.
Crew.
Yes, me
Like
too.
that just kind of baffles me in its existence. Like,
And in its secrecy, we have not
yeah,
had any leaked anything. No details, no leaked images, no synopsis, no announcements.
we've
And
barely seen the cast.
right. So it'll be interesting. I hope. It's funny now with social media. I mean, a lot of people are complaining that the trailers for Ahsoka really have kind of showed you everything. They've revealed a lot, and it's one of those things that I personally wish that they would have kind of cut back on, because it's always great to be surprised when you're watching the damn show instead of knowing what you're going to get, before you even start the run. So and that's not a problem with Star Wars in general. I think a lot of studios do that with their trailers. It's like sometimes you get this 2.5 minute trailer and you already know exactly what's going to happen. You know who the villain is, you know what the outcome is, and it's like, why even bother going to see the movie? You've cut it down to 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, and Amanda says she wanted to be surprised by Anakin, and they already
Yeah.
showed that. I get that. So
Wait, Anakin's
just
gonna
with
be in this?
oh my god, just with Anakin being in Obi-Wan, I mean they were filming that and Ahsoka at the same time.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So I think, look, for me, I kind of knew that was going to happen already. I was like, well, Anakin's absolutely going to be in this in one way or the other. But as far as your points on the trailer revealing too much, I don't think they've revealed a lot at all.
Okay. Okay.
Personally, and this is something that I do during our shows, during our runs. Usually, whichever episode it is that shows the last bit of any trailer we've seen, I make sure to mention that. And I think Mandalorian, it was episode 4, was the last time that we saw anything from any trailers, and then everything after
yeah.
that was new.
We
Um,
got into that pretty like the last like half of the season
yeah,
hadn't
same with
been
Obi-Wan.
hadn't
Any
been
any
touched.
right, any
Um,
trailers that we saw from Obi-Wan, I believe we didn't see
we
any
didn't see
footage
Leia,
past episode 3 or anything like that.
and we
So,
didn't. I don't remember seeing Leia at any point in any of the promo stuff for Obi-Wan.
no.
So,
No.
I mean,
So I think what they've shown us is probably only up to at max episode 4 or 5.
yeah,
Anything after that, I don't think we've seen yet. I would say that most of the stuff from the trailers and the footage that's been released is probably from episodes 1 through 3.
yeah.
Yeah, and conversely, I mean, who didn't know that this live action Ahsoka was going to be the next season of Rebels?
Oh, I
So
did.
right.
I,
So I mean, we can kind of surmise what the story is going to be. Obviously, looking for Ezra, looking for Thrawn. We get Thrawn's mention in the Jedi episode in Mando.
mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of information out there that fans can kind of fill in the blanks and kind of do some lucky guesses. Um, and as I was telling Amanda, I did see an image today that kind of confirmed to me, at least, of the identity of that Inquisitor that everybody
Oh yeah.
likes. Yeah. So
Don't
so
tell
We
me,
have
because
some
I want to
local. We
be.
have some local theories.
I don't want
yeah.
to be spoiled on that, and I do have a huge theory on that later. And whether I'm right or I'm wrong on that theory, listen, If I'm right, I've saved all of my receipts and I'm gonna go shit on anyone that ever told me I was wrong.
And that would be
But
me because I remember that post. I'm like, no, get the fuck out of here.
but if I'm wrong, it's not gonna change my opinion on
Right? Yeah.
anything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's all in good fun. All these theories and things are all
Yeah.
in good fun. But
Because
yeah,
we're
there's
normal. Because we're normal adults who can separate that from.
exactly.
Well,
Exactly. I mean, I have like a 4-page book report on how I thought Rey and Poe were brother and sister after Force Awakens came out. Like
yeah.
I have this huge theory on that, and that was clearly wrong. Um,
Well, I
but
mean,
I like how you
to be fair, they were writing those as they went too.
as they went along. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not wrong. But you
Any of
brought
those
up,
theories could have been true.
yeah, Ro, you brought up this as being Rebels season 5. I actually took a poll in one of my groups on Facebook that luckily let me back in after I got deleted. But I asked, is this going to be a standalone Ahsoka show or is this going to be Rebels season 5? And out of 40 votes, it looks like 92% of people think it's going to be Rebels season 5. So I kind of agree with that, and I hope
I mean, he
that's
let
what
he
it
left.
is, you know.
Yeah, he left the thread wide open.
That was
When we got that last shot in the at the mural and
And Gandalf the White, Ahsoka, Ahsoka the
exactly.
White.
I mean, who didn't know that we were going to continue that story? I think it's great that it's going to actually happen in live action with real actors and stuff like that. So that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think Dave Filoni obviously has done an amazing job curating the stories in the animated versions of Star Wars, and I think this will be his first foray into kind of really controlling the narrative when it comes to these characters, and these are characters that he has created obviously from the get-go with the help of Mr. Lucas, and it should be a fun ride. Obviously I've been very critical of my Star Wars lately, but
We've been burned before. Book of Boba Fett. Looking at
yes, yeah. But we'll definitely, I'm definitely ready for the ride, and as I said, I'm hoping that it's good.
Yeah, I think we're all hoping that it's good, and I want to bring back up your Anakin thing too. We were talking about Anakin being in this and how it was kind of spoiled. Now that we know Anakin's gonna be in it, do you think he's gonna play a big role in this, or do you think it's gonna be more of a flashback role?
No, for me, I think it's going to be a flashback. It's not going to be, they're not going to play a big role. I think if you have, they're going to use the same excuses as they did for The Last Jedi. And every time I mention that, I have to take a drink. Hold on. They said if we bring in Luke Skywalker with all the other characters, then it turns into a Luke Skywalker show. Anakin is such a huge character that I think they're going to use that same excuse. They're going to use him lightly. They're going to use him as the flashback. We heard the audio of him, training Ahsoka, and I think that happens, obviously in the past. So we get a little glimpse of the two characters, together from when we, know them as animated characters, which is cool. But I don't think he's going to play a large role. People were saying that, oh my God, Anakin is back as a Force ghost. No, he won't be a Force ghost in this.
You don't think so?
Not at all.
Nah.
No,
Okay.
no.
All right.
No,
I know a lot of people were
I
kind of
think we'll
upset
see.
about that too. That they were like, why would Anakin show up to Ahsoka and not to
Exactly.
Luke as
Right.
a Force ghost? Although Anakin did show up to Luke as a Force ghost when he first became a Force ghost in Return of the Jedi.
On Andor, yes, yeah.
Yeah. But what were you going to say, Phil?
I was just going to say, I think at most we'll maybe see him in one episode.
Okay.
As far as like actually seeing him. Just, I mean, for one, just how much of actual Anakin did we see during Obi-Wan?
We
Right.
saw a good, a little
as-
bit, I guess.
a little bit,
little
but
bit.
yeah.
It was a good amount.
Yeah.
But it was a
and I
little bit.
think we might see one episode that features him pretty heavily.
Mm.
But just given the story structure, the way that these episodes of other shows so far have been framed, um, I definitely think we'll see less of him. I think that a lot of fans would want to see.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we'll see both. I think we'll see a little bit of Force Ghost and a little bit of flashbacks, but it won't be very much. And I wouldn't be surprised if Anakin is one of like the first scenes we see in Episode 1, where
Mhm.
Ahsoka's having a dream and it's a flashback or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, I can
And
see
But
that.
and
I
we could
think they'll use
still,
him sparingly for sure.
yeah, we could still potentially hear, some
More
of the,
Anakin.
we
Yeah.
could hear more than we see.
Yeah.
We've got there's a lot of options for how they want to handle it.
And it also depends on how much they want to harken back to old Star Wars
Yeah.
and to Clone Wars and Rebels. Because if this is like just a standalone Ahsoka show and they're just focusing on Ahsoka, then we could see a lot more Anakin and a lot more flashbacks because he's a huge part in her life. But if this is a Rebels season 5, then I would expect to see more with Sabine and Hera and even Jason Syndulla and
Yeah.
I mean,
do
Chopper.
you think that we'll hear if we're doing the audio for flashbacks? Do you think we'll get Hayden Christensen doing the voice, or
Oh,
do you think
absolutely.
we'll get Matt Lanter
I think
No,
we're getting
and
Christensen.
Ashley
Christensen's doing,
Eckstein
yeah,
doing the
Christensen is doing
flashback
the voice.
voices?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cri-
and he's channeling a little bit of Latner in the
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
totally.
recordings. Yeah.
yeah,
But they're going to have to do some sort of flashback because you're going to have to allow the story to be understood by casual fans that have never seen the animation. So
yeah.
if this is your first time,
Meeting
experiencing
the
Ahsoka,
Ghost crew, meeting
right, then you're going to have some sort of explanation to kind of recap. And I think, what was it? Was it the very beginning of the Obi-Wan show? I mean, they did a good job of kind of rehashing, everything that we know about, rehashing the prequels there.
Mhm.
So that was kind of a good job. So they're going to have to do it again.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see how much they pick up with any of the older material.
Yeah.
That
So-
leaves them a lot of room to work with.
There's a good
It's true.
question. Yeah, there's a good question in the chat
And
regarding.
you'll think
Yeah.
we'll see
Kanan in
Kanan?
flashbacks. I would love that. I would love to see Freddie Prinze Jr. show up.
that
and
would be
do
a hell of a
He won't
cameo.
do-
That would be a hell of a
Yeah.
cameo. But
I think
really,
I think he's done with Star Wars.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Alright.
he's said so. He's
Now, I mean,
he's been bitter about certain things.
we also never
I guess I
expected
didn't
that
know
we'd
that.
see Harrison Ford coming back and doing another Indiana Jones movie, and here we are.
Well, Harrison Ford's
Uh,
broke, so
Well, I've always known that I mean, Indiana Jones was supposed to be like when they first thought of the concept, it was supposed to be 5 movies.
Yeah,
So I always expected, even after Crystal Skull, I always expected them to at least talk about a
Another
5th
one.
movie. And obviously George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were still kind of attached. There were some things that were happening that kind of they lost interest, but I still expected Ford to do one more.
yeah. So I mean, who knows?
I don't know.
The mouse has money.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
And, that's
And
kinda-
money changes hearts.
It can. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know any of the drama between Freddie Prinze, so I would think he would come back, but that's just me. I mean,
Yeah.
Ahmad Best came back, and I
Yeah,
feel like
I
he had
mean-
Yeah,
some-
but Ahmed Best has been more active, post
Across the whole-
right.
Uh,
He's been a lot more active, and his section of the fandom is more family based because of the game show that he was
Yeah.
doing, and
which is still amazing. I love that that's
Sure.
actually a thing.
yeah.
yeah. So what are you guys' expectations on Thrawn? Do you think we're going to see him a lot this season, or is it going to be kind of one of those end of series premieres? Phil, let's start with you.
we're getting his voice actor back to play him in live action. We're setting him up as the big bad guy of basically the entire Filoni universe.
The Mandoverse.
Yeah, and all of its connected bits. I mean, even at this point, everything that started in Clone Wars now is still building up to Thrawn. Um, I want to see more of him than I think we will.
And his
There's already
fist.
there's-
He only has one, just one hand.
Listen, okay? That's an easy thing to mess up, all right?
No, it is.
guys?
It is. It is. It's also a Zahn series. It's just, you know.
I've been saying Hand of Thrawn since we first started doing this trilogy, Phil. Where the hell have you been?
You're up on this like top of this tree, right? I'm sitting down there with a hatchet, just going.
Oh my god. You waited till the last command to knock it down. Jeez.
He had a small axe.
Seriously. Well, Ro, what about you? What are your expectations on Thrawn? You think he's going to show up a lot or a little?
You know, I think he's going to show up a little, and I think the bulk of his appearance will probably be relegated towards the end of the season. I think there might be, because all of this is kind of gearing up for the the Mandoverse movie event of the century, et cetera, is how it goes. So I'm kind of thinking that Thrawn will have implications with the story, but it does seem like these other two ex-Jedi, expatriates will be a little bit more of a driving force for the Ghost crew. And then we'll see what happens. Are they also looking for Thrawn? Are they looking for Thrawn, because they want to exact revenge for something
For Lothal,
right.
for
So there might be two adversaries in this series, and that'll be cool too.
Ooh, I like this. Andrew asks, what could be the craziest cameo that we could see or most unexpected cameo? Phil, let's start with you. What do you think?
Man,
what's our pilot, our X-wing captain
Wedge?
from the one from Mando, who's hanging out with Zeb.
The actor, bitter Asian dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What's his name? That's his Twitter handle.
Yes.
Oh
It
my
is.
God.
That's actually his handle.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Carson Teva.
Right.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. I would love to see him show up and
Sure.
bring Zeb in.
Yes.
Because if they're hanging out, if they're at the base hanging out together,
then
I would actually love to see Carson Teva. I don't know that that's super crazy, not
Right.
super unexpected.
Yeah.
But I think it would just be fun just for an additional connection between those things. It's like, hey, Zeb's here now, and he brought this other, X-wing pilot along with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remind me what the timeline is of this series
For Ahsoka.
Yeah.
It's after Return of the Jedi, but before Force Awakens. It's like 7 years after Return of the Jedi.
But it's happening concurrently with the Mandalorian season. Am I?
Yes, which
Okay.
was
Pretty much,
set
yeah.
5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
What do you think, bro? What would be your most unexpected or craziest cameo?
Eli Vanto.
Ooh. Okay.
Josh is
Why-
like, what?
Why have I never heard of this?
That could be fun.
Hmm.
Who is that? Wait, what?
Chit's ascendancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically a human who works with
Thrawn.
Thrawn.
We did get a little bit of the ex Imperials in the last episode of Mandalorian that mentioned Thrawn and all that stuff. So
Paleon.
Right.
Yeah.
So we
Now
we
we
can
get and we had, all manner of things going on Coruscant, with the
With
former
yeah,
Imperials,
with
um,
Parrish, Dr. Parrish, or
Right.
is that his name? And the
Pershing,
Mind Flayer,
Dr.
which
Pershing.
listen, I have a lot to say about that Mind Flayer here in a little bit. All right, we'll
Yeah.
talk about that episode.
But it's Dr. Pershing.
Pershing, yes.
Yeah.
Um, I think Hondo would be
Oh
the craziest
yes.
and most unexpected cameo.
I
honestly.
think that would be perfect.
I would
It-
throw
it-
something at the screen.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be ecstatic to see
Yeah.
Hondo back, but I would throw something at the screen.
Live action Hondo. When?
I mean, get Jim Cummings. Just be like, hey man,
Dude,
you want to
you
play
just put a
old man
mask
Hondo?
on him. Yeah, you just put
I
some.
can see him doing it.
Yeah.
And it,
Honestly,
man, it wouldn't
That would
be.
be awesome.
It wouldn't be the worst cameo, that's for sure. And with
Right.
Mandalorian season 3 introducing pirates, I feel like
Yeah.
Hondo could really make an appearance.
It would fit. Yeah. Or Stapler guy from the first season of
Oh yeah,
Book of
from-
Boba Fett.
Yeah, the guy that's in Office Space or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Jack Black.
yes,
Please no.
No.
Jack
No.
Black and Lizzo. coming back, man.
No, I'm good. See, I think Mandalorian season 3 did a lot of setting up for Ahsoka and the Thrawn trilogy. Than
Yeah, there's a couple
people kinda
things in there.
realize.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
think we'll go back to Tatooine?
The sands of Tatooine.
I mean,
Probably.
Sure, why not?
Oh my God, knowing Filoni, holy.
You know, it's
Filoni.
funny. I don't understand the hate that Tatooine gets. It's like,
It's
you
just so
show
much.
yeah, it's like, oh my God, we're back on Tatooine. What the hell? I'm like, yeah, but that's where it all started. It's like going
is.
home.
It is where it all started. I think just the idea of what's supposed to be a backwater planet
Right.
suddenly becoming more important
More
in the
centralized,
universe
right.
than,
I'd rather
Coruscant
go to
or-
Jakku, honestly.
You know
If
what?
we're gonna go to a
I'm
desert
good.
planet.
As long as we're filming in Tunisia.
But I do think we're gonna hit up Mount Tantus. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna see
It's
a
another-
live-action
yes.
version of Mount
Yeah.
Tantus.
That is
Okay.
a good observation. I think
And with
would be
Playing
good.
around with cloning facilities and things.
Yep. And with that, I mean, we're gonna see live-action Lothal. That's already in the trailers. There's
Yeah, well,
there's
what's
so many
left of it?
different.
And Space Stonehenge.
Yes.
Space Henge.
Are there any planets or locations that you guys would like to see that maybe we haven't seen in live action yet? Ro, let's start with you.
No. I'm
Not even Dathomir?
I'm good with whatever planets they show us. I think they do a good job. I think
right.
I'm good.
I think Dathomir is a good possibility.
Yeah.
Just tying in the Night Sisters and things.
Because the magistrate is a Night Sister?
Yeah, that's a good theory
So,
too.
I
I
mean-
mean,
I think that's a possibility. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, this is a fun one. Doesn't
Let's
have much to do with
go- you
Ahsoka,
know what?
but when
No,
Kathleen
let's-
Kennedy leaves, who should replace her? You mean when Kathleen Kennedy gets fired, who should replace her?
For the 17th time.
I,
You know-
I,
you know what
I
we
would
need
say
to see?
Filoni, because Favreau is just in it to help Filoni make this Mandoverse, whereas Filoni is like George Lucas Jr.
Mhm.
I feel like Filoni would be the best person to take over.
Yeah, but the only thing is that Filoni is good hands-on, and what Kathleen Kennedy does is more. I was going to use the word administrative, but that's not really the case. I think her job is really to wrangle the talent and make sure that everybody under her is doing what they need to be doing.
Yeah, but
And
Filoni
Fil-
could hire someone under him to make sure.
Yeah,
they're below
yeah,
them,
but that would be
know?
kind of like a waste of resources. I would think.
All right, I think. All right.
Let's take a trip to Bothavui. Let's go
Where?
see the Both in Homeworld.
Yes,
Oh.
there you go. Yeah.
Let's see some Bothans in live action.
Let's just go back to Canto Bite.
Yes.
No,
Have
I'm
we ever
good.
seen Bothans
We're
in
just
live
having a
action?
whole. We could do an entire like James Bond style spy thriller just set
Sure.
in Canto Bite.
Yeah. No,
Mm.
I'm good.
Calrissian. Lando Calrissian.
I'm gonna keep
Oh
using
my
that, Josh.
God.
I'm good.
I'm good. That's fine. It's yours. You can have it. But okay, so Dathomir. I was talking about
Yeah,
Dathomir.
Dathomir could be good.
I
Might be a
think that would
possibility.
be a really fun. We've seen it in so many different. We've seen it in Clone Wars. We've seen it in Rebels and video games. Why not live action now? I mean, it's a pretty popular planet.
Right.
Mhm.
When's the last time we got a Filoni animated show? What was the last?
Would you
It's
count
it's been a while,
Resistance?
right? Resistance? No, he. I don't
I
think
don't think he did
he
that,
had
did he?
he didn't have a direct hand in Resistance, but
It had to have been
it's
Rebels then.
it has been a long time. Well,
It's
you know
2018.
so it's almost like we're forgetting.
Bad Batch.
Yeah, a little bit of Bad Batch.
Mhm.
It's almost like we're forgetting Filoni's creative shenanigans when it comes to telling us these stories. I think, um, obviously we were well vested in Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff like that, but there is a certain way that he tells stories that is very rewarding. He'll set something up on Monday and he'll reveal it on Tuesday, and by Thursday everybody's happy. So I think I think he's going to be doing the same thing with Ahsoka, with the series, because like you said, there's already been some little tidbits kind of introduced into especially the last season of Mandalorian. So I think we're going to be, as much as we've seen, I think we're still going to be surprised, and it should be kind of a good slate. I've seen some of the names of the people that are directing some of these episodes, and
That's
it's a pretty
something
good
I
list.
wanted to get into, actually.
Yeah, I read your mind.
Yeah. So
I'm force sensitive. My midichlorian
Yeah.
count is rather high.
I have that pulled up right now, actually.
Rose
Um,
midichlorian count?
no,
Nice. I mean, I know you can find
Public,
anything on
yeah,
the
public
internet, but
knowledge. Yeah.
no, but the directors of these episodes. It's kind of crazy actually because there's only I think there's 8 episodes and 6 different directors. Dave Filoni directed episodes 1 and 5. Steph Green directed episodes 2 and 3, and then you have Rick Famuyiwa. I could never
Famuyiwa.
pronounce his last name. Thank you. But he's been involved. He's been involved in Star Wars a couple times,
He's done Mando episodes, and I
and Boba
think
Fett
he did.
episode.
Yeah, he's good.
And
He's a good
then
director.
there was one other director out of Jennifer Getzinger, Gita Patel, and Peter Ramsey. One of those directors has done Star Wars before, but the other ones have not done any Star Wars. So I love the fact that they give people chances to direct these shows. You know what I mean? I think who is it? Was it Peter Ramsey that all he's really done is like storyboards for stuff?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I mean he directed Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Rise of the Guardians, which are both really good movies, but like for the most part he has been in the art department for all of the products or things that he's been involved in. So it's really cool to see I mean Star Wars is such a huge franchise for Filoni and company to give these directors, these small-time directors a chance to direct something that is going to be very scrutinized is kind of cool, I think.
Yeah.
And they've been for I guess for lack of better words, the directors that they've chosen have been fantastic.
Yeah.
For everything, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mandalorian season 1, 2,
Andor.
and 3. I mean, Andor. They all have directors that have been involved in directing for a long time, and then directors that have not really done it for as long of a time. So I'm definitely interested to see how Ahsoka plays out with these new directors, and especially because Filoni's doing episode 1 and 5, you would
Mhm.
think that the Holy Filoni, hallowed be thy name. Shout out to Tim from SFF Podcast because that's what he says. But you would think that Filoni would do, the best episodes, right? Like the season finale or
I think he's
the
wanting to
second
pick.
to last one.
I think he's wanting to pick points that are going to be major turning points for the series. I think he's wanting to hit with that initial episode so that he kind of sets the tone for the whole thing, and then sets us up for a big pivot, a big surprise point at some point in that 5th episode. Because
Yeah.
we're looking at what, an 8-episode season?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And technically 7 because they're releasing the first 2 episodes.
the first 2 come out at the same
Sure.
time. Yeah.
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 So we're getting a 7-week release cycle.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I stand by that though, that he's probably got a major story point that's going to hit in episode 5 that he wants to handle.
Yeah. I can
know,
see that. And as far as
little more.
directors, yeah, I think you're right. I think they gave the guy that did the music for Rogue One, Michael Giancano. He directed.
Is it
Was that?
Giamatti? Is it
No, so something like
No.
that. But he directed the Marvel that special on Halloween.
the
Giacchino.
werewolf one?
Yeah, the werewolf one, and
Yeah,
he did a
oh, man,
fantastic
Werewolf
job.
by
It was a
Night
great,
was-
it was great.
So much fun.
So
I need
yeah,
to go back and rewatch that one.
you should, yeah.
It's
And I hope they do another
chapter of
another
it.
chapter or something.
We got Man Thing. Yeah,
Right,
live
yeah.
action. That was surreal.
Totally cool.
Right.
No, he's a solid composer too. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
and it's nice. I love seeing all the notes that the various other composers who have tackled Star Wars projects, all the notes that they've taken from the work that John Williams did, and then just
kind of like elaborated on
taking
it.
their own track with it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, things like Mando take way more notes from, Ennio Morricone with all of the work that he did with like Clint Eastwood, with the spaghetti westerns, with. So there's a lot of nods to that kind of history throughout Mando's soundtrack, but
Right. I have one more just kind of small question to ask before we get into the fun stuff. Because man, I have a really fun theory that I just
Wait, we haven't
want-
started the fun
you know?
stuff? Damn, I can't
No,
wait.
but the fun stuff to me, like everything else has been fun, but the extra fun stuff is my personal theories. But Ubaldo says hello.
What's up?
Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Do you think that just a last little kind of question? Do you think we're gonna see Mandalorian or Grogu in this series at all?
God, I hope not. I don't mind I don't mind having Mandalorian in there. We probably might see him, but I don't know if the
We
story
had-
calls for it.
we had a time skip in Mando between Book of Boba Fett and the beginning of
Like a good couple years, too.
yeah, there was like something like 2 years of time gap in there that was just kind of glossed over and never really like clarified. It's possible that a good chunk of Ahsoka takes place during that time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a possibility that we might see Ahsoka pop in to check on Luke. But I think that's more likely than seeing Mando.
That's interesting, and makes sense for sure.
Yeah,
I think Rhode's right. I don't think we actually need Mando or Grogu in this series to.
I think there's a lot happening in this series that
Mhm.
if you start seeing Mando, it's going to be distracting.
exactly with
know, they-
everything already happening, with all of the Rebels crew coming back.
Right.
That's
Yeah. I just want them to kind of get down to business and tell us that story.
Yeah.
And, leave the babysitting for Mando.
Do you think the Ahsoka story involves Rex or
Oh
Agent
yeah.
Callus?
Oh, definitely Rex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I,
I
I have I have no question that we're gonna see Rex.
okay. I mean, they did in Rebels. They did mention that Rex was in the Battle of Endor, so
Yeah.
he is still alive. I would assume at this point,
Mm-hmm.
albeit probably kind of old, but he's still alive. What about Agent Callus? Would you guys be
I don't
okay
know.
seeing him show up again? Because last time we saw him, and look, the only reason I know this is because Rebels is super fresh in my mind. I just watched the whole series again last week, but at the end of Rebels, Zeb shows Callus like where Zeb's race was
Yeah.
relocated, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so I think Callus like stayed around with them or something.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would love to see him. I liked Callus a lot. Just his story arc, his character arc in all of Rebels was so much fun.
Hmm.
Him from going from that asshole that you just wanted his Star Destroyer to blow up so bad to the guy that you're like, oh my god, save him, make sure
Yeah.
he lives. It was really fun watching his story go. So it
It was
really
a great, yeah. It was
It
a
was a good
great
arc.
redemption arc for
Yeah.
that
yeah
character.
yeah.
And
That's
isn't that what Star Wars is all about?
oh yeah yeah it is. It's about redemption arcs, don't you think? Lots of good redemption arcs. Which leads me to my next thing, which this is. I'll start because I know everyone's got their own little theories and predictions for this show. Okay, and
Mhm.
Rose already seen apparently the spoiler of who the Inquisitor is, but I have been like carrying this flag with me everywhere I go. I have started some online fights and done some things that I, you
And
know.
when was it again that your Facebook account got hacked?
There you
Shortly
go.
after I posted this theory, actually. But I really think that Ezra is gonna end up being this new Inquisitor, this Merrick, this guy that and I just think that because it makes a lot of sense. If we're going to go onto a redemption arc, if we're going to talk about bringing someone home, bringing someone back to their family, what better character than Ezra to do that with? They're on the search for Ezra, right?
Oh, is that
So,
about better than Ezra?
oh my god, get out. But there's a lot of reasons I think this. One of them being at the very end of Rebels, Ezra disappears with Thrawn. The Purgles take them to the unknown regions, and we have no idea what happened. So, obviously, my mind goes to different places, and I feel like Ezra was on a Star Destroyer with hundreds, if not thousands, of Imperials. There's no way he's going to get away from that. Once the Purgles dropped them off, and wherever they dropped them off at, Thrawn's going to capture Ezra easily. Like, it's not going to be
Because
hard
he's
because he's Thrawn and he's got an army on his Star Destroyer to do it. And
I
probably
I
a
was just
brig
gonna
and
go with better than Ezra again.
I'm not doing that. So anyway, like that being said, knowing that that Thrawn could capture Ezra, there is quite the possibility that after what is this 13, 14, 15 years after he disappears,
sometime.
it's a long time to be with each other, and Thrawn and Ezra obviously would be at odds, right? Now, my whole theory is that the Thrawn used a mind flayer on Ezra. That basically he warped his puny little Jedi mind into his, Thrawn molded him into whatever he wanted, which would be an Inquisitor. Because the last thing that Thrawn knew of that hunted Jedi was Inquisitors. If they went out into unknown regions and they didn't know what happened to Emperor Palpatine and they were kept in the dark from the war. You know what I mean? It makes sense in my head. Okay,
I have one qualm with that,
go
and
on.
it's not with Ezra being the Inquisitor. It's not about that aspect. It's just the idea that Thrawn would be that disconnected from any kind of information source for that long.
But it depends on how far out in the unknown regions they go, right?
Oh yeah, and who else came after them?
And if it's just them trapped, and here's the other thing: Ezra has that connection with Purgles. So if Thrawn is trying to get back to the original galaxy, and he can't communicate with Purgles by any means, then he's going to try and use Ezra in any means necessary to get those Purgles back, to take them back to the galaxy.
Yeah, I mean,
Which,
if the Purgles, if it comes to the point where the Purgles are his only way back,
right.
No wonder they're
I mean,
no wonder they're dropping the first 2 episodes because they have a lot of explaining to do
in a
with casual
very short
fans.
time frame,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a ton.
But we've also seen, hints throughout, especially in the most recent few episodes of Mando.
Yeah.
We know that there's somebody reaching out to Thrawn. There's some, but we don't know how long that's been going on. We don't know how long he's been back.
Right.
Well, and
How long was he in the unknown regions? When did he get back?
and you're right, there's so much explaining to do, but at the same time, there's when you look at the old books from the early 90s, the old Thrawn books, the first expanded universe books, Thrawn showed up out of nowhere. He just kind of showed up and had this imperial army behind him and was looking to restore the empire. So in a way, they don't have to explain a lot of it. They can probably get away with just like, yeah, he's back. If you want to know about him, go to Rebels. But we'll give you a book later on to read about how he actually came back. Either way, I think that Ezra is going to be this Inquisitor because it's going to give the Ghost Crew / Ahsoka an adversary to bring back to the light. It's going to be someone to bring back home, basically, and that's the whole point of Rebels season 5, I would say, is bringing Ezra home.
And
right?
if Ahsoka has heard from Force Ghost Anakin at this point, maybe now she knows that it's possible to bring someone back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
To bring a Sith back after whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if she learns from either from Luke or from Force Ghost Anakin or both, how that went down and how Anakin was redeemed, that might give her hope. Might give her reason to give the Ghost Crew hope.
Right.
But I mean, we're also seeing Sabine has Ezra's lightsaber still. So I mean, maybe there's been.
No,
that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah,
Sabine doesn't have his lightsaber, and I know that for a fact because I just watched Rebels.
Yeah,
and on that last episode of Rebels, when Ezra goes and surrenders to Thrawn on his ship, they take his lightsaber and his gun. So that lightsaber is on
is that where it ended up?
Destroyer. Yeah.
Okay, I lost track of it.
If anything, she made her own lightsaber to mimic his. And when I was at Comic-Con
that's
a
good possibility.
The lightsaber that I saw on display was similar, but different.
Okay, that would explain the similarity in the design, though, if she based her own build off of Ezra's. Okay, no, that tracks.
To just kind of go back though, and I know people have. I've been getting a lot of shit online about this theory, and I get it. But
save your receipt,
man. I have that mind flayer was not introduced in Mandalorian for no reason. Like that episode was such a throwaway episode, other than the fact that they're like, here's this device that the Empire used for a really long time to warp people's minds and indoctrinate them into the Empire. You know, you look back at the Thrawn, was it the Ascendancy books? I think the last book talks about how Thrawn has a cage on his chimera, on the chimera that like holds Jedi, and like I don't know, the Emperor was talking about it at some point. But I'm very convinced that Ezra's going to be that Inquisitor, and that he's working with Thrawn not because he chose to, but because he was maybe forced to. And look, maybe he's a clone. Maybe they found a way to clone Ezra, and they put him in that Inquisitor mask to.
Now you're
hide
just
his
talking crazy.
identity. No, yeah, am I though? I mean, Snoke was cloned, right?
At some point in the Star Wars universe, it's going to be easier to tell you who hasn't been cloned.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
And that kind of leads into my next crazy theory that I kind of just, I don't know. I might have been smoking a little weed the other day, and I was like thinking about Luke Skywalker, and I got into this crazy theory there. But either way, I think Ezra's gonna be in that mask at some point in time, and we're gonna have some sort of redemption arc. But on the topic of clones, how cool would it be if we found out how Luke's lightsaber got into Maz Kanata's hand? How she
And again,
came to
I
be with
think
it.
that's a little bit. I think that might be a little bit of overreach for this series.
Sure, but it would be cool in this Mandoverse like movie setting, because they're gonna do Ahsoka, and I would assume Mandalorian season 4, and then the movie or whatever. But in that time frame of all these stories, it would be cool to kind of show how Maz got that lightsaber.
Oh, it would be fun, yes.
Do you guys have any crazy theories or things that you've read online that you thought, hey, maybe that's a possibility?
I have mostly been trying to avoid potential spoilers on this one. So,
Okay. I love making theories.
no, I know. I don't know.
Ro, do you have any crazy theories that you've read online or that you've made up in your
There's
head?
this guy who's talking about like how he thinks we're gonna see how Maz Kanata ends up with Luke's lightsaber. I
Yeah,
don't know. Man.
that's a
That seems
crazy
a little
theory.
out there.
So I did see something earlier today that will make Josh happy regarding the Inquisitor situation.
Oh no! You about to spoil it for me? I'm down.
But
Lay it on me.
yeah, so we'll see. I'm actually trying to see if I can look for the image, but I cannot find it. And I know I put it. Oh, I know it's on my phone. But apparently it was something. It was a behind the scenes look of the fight between the Inquisitor and Ahsoka. And the Inquisitor happens to have the mask off, and you can see who's under it.
Interesting.
So I won't say anything further.
See, and here's the thing. I had so many people come at me, and they were like, well, Paul Darnell is playing Merrick. He's the one that's playing Merrick. And, dude, Paul Darnell is a stunt man, okay?
Right.
Just like Jai Crowder and Brendan Wayne for Mandalorian, okay? He's a stunt man that hangs out inside the mask. So that point is invalid.
Right.
Like, I knew it. I freaking knew it. I really hope that's true. Because, like I said, I have saved a lot of receipts for people that have called me bad names for my theory.
and stolen your Facebook accounts. But I think we'll know in 8 days. Andrew's got another question that has been circulating the Twitterverse.
Yeah, Andrew asks, do you think Sabine could be force sensitive? I actually don't think she is force sensitive. Ro, what do you think?
I say no.
I'm gonna throw this out. I don't think she's necessarily like force wielder level, trainable to be a Jedi, but I think she's gonna have some more of an just kind of the intuition level, um, kind of like Anakin showed in his early piloting skills. I think we could see something like that.
Nah, they're just
But
gonna
I,
make
I, I
Compound
want to
M. It's
see
gonna be midi chlorians that you just shoot into your veins, and it gives you force powers.
I want to see
Oh
I
no.
want to see varying levels of force sensitivity. I want to
Oh, okay.
see I want to see it as much more of a spectrum of ability rather than just a yes or no
Like
kind of
levels of
toggle.
mutants.
Yeah,
Mm.
sure. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, we've got people like, Luke who are like the Omega level,
Sure.
um,
And then you got Broom
versus
Boy. That's
yeah, I
just
mean,
like
maybe
Nightcrawler
just,
level, right?
maybe Lando's lightly force sensitive and that just impacts his luck.
Hmm.
I
So now we're getting to Dungeons and Dragons, where we're like
yes,
rolling for.
yes, fate manipulation.
Okay.
Who knows? There's they they played with a lot of different things in the old EU. Um,
Yeah. I remember Han trying to find out if he was force sensitive at some point.
mhm,
Him like messing around, but I don't know. I going back to Rebels
yeah,
and Sabine trying to train with Kanan and Ezra and stuff. I just don't. I don't think she's got it. I think she might
Right.
have some really good sword fighting skills and is able to hold her own that way, but I don't think she's gonna be able to move rocks.
yeah.
Right.
No, I don't think she'll be like telekinetic level. I don't. But I think there might be. Yeah,
I
we
like
might
that
see
different
almost
levels of
almost
force
like a
wielder though.
yeah, like a just almost like the Spidey sense kind of level of intuition, just to be like duck at the right time, kind of things. You know, uh,
Yeah,
I think that
I
has
like that.
I think that
So what's
has the
what's the
potential.
difference between that and having the force to be able to see the rock coming to tell you to duck?
Uh, Nothing. It's just a
Yeah.
different way of phrasing it, basically. Yeah. I mean,
You're saying like
but
Luke
but you
can
wouldn't you
raise up an
wouldn't
entire
be
pool of
able to
frogs,
throw the rock
whereas
without
yeah,
touching
we're
it.
yeah, like Luke can, or even Ray can move an entire cave system of rocks,
Hmm.
but Sabine can only focus on one rock at a time. Is that kind of what we're
I
looking at here? Like,
I don't even know if I did. I don't even know if I'd go that far. I think if as we've been told all along that the force surrounds all of us,
Right.
that it's all of life being encompassed, all of life within the galaxy, because we're not getting into the Yuzan Vong. uh um I think it's a possibility. Like, I don't know, maybe like she gets queasy around a Salamiri, not full on
Right.
nullification, but just like feels something weird. Yeah.
I could see it. I could
I
see just
again, I
kind
just like
of
the idea of there being more, uh because they've been since episode 1, they've been leaning away from the simple midichlorian count uh explanation of things, um and just kind of moving past that, not talking about it so much. So I think there's a
well,
possibility that we could see other people with lighter levels, different tiers of force sensitivity.
I mean, if anyone can be a Skywalker, then anyone can probably use the Force, I guess, right? If you can just adopt that name. Well, I'm sorry,
I
that
don't
was a
again, I
stab.
don't
That
think
was a
she'd ever
stab at
be
episode
I don't
9.
think
It
she'd
was
ever
bad.
be like Jedi level, you know. But I
No,
mean,
but
how
I,
much how
I,
much force sensitivity did Luke show before he started training?
well, he did have a torpedo go into a hole the size of a womp rat.
After he'd already been training with Obi-Wan.
What do you call that? Training? That was
Yes,
like him
a
deflecting.
few hours. I know.
Oh, okay. A few hours.
I'm just
All right. All
saying.
right. Fine. Fair. That's fair.
Again,
But Luke is
I
an
don't
Omega
think.
power Jedi,
Yes,
so of
which
course he
is
would.
why
After a
Sabine
couple
could have been working on
hours.
this. Which is why Sabine could have been working on this for years and
Mm.
never actually see any tangible results.
Do you think that's why Ahsoka left her because she couldn't use the Force?
No,
She abandoned her.
nah, I don't think Ahsoka's that kind of person.
The other question too
Oh.
is like, why is Ahsoka training Sabine and decided not to train Grogu?
Because Grogu is way more Force. He's an Omega power Jedi. There's no way Ahsoka
Um,
could train that.
I think it's a different level of priority as far as like being able to stop and train Grogu.
But it also could be the timing too, like
Yeah,
where it
that's
was
what
in
I
the
mean when I'm
timeline.
saying priorities. Like she's got other shit going on.
Because if this Ahsoka series could be going on before Mandalorian season 2,
hmm
when
Yeah,
she's
I guess
trying to
we don't
find the
know that.
magistrate,
Yeah, right.
and then she finally finds a magistrate in season 2 of Mandalorian. But
We could start this series, after those events. No, it
yeah,
would have to be before because I don't remember what happens to the magistrate in that episode.
I don't remember either. I can't remember. I
Yeah,
don't think she got arrested or anything. I don't think she got killed either.
right.
So I
We'll have to
think she was
revisit.
just disarmed. Yeah, huh? We'll have to go back, watch
Yeah.
Mandalorian again, I guess. So, do you guys have any crazy theories that you've been looking on or anything? Nothing else other than Ezra's the Inquisitor.
Yeah, no, that's about it.
Like I said, I haven't been diving that hard into a lot
Right.
of the theories right now because, I mean, I
Besides Tatooine, I want to see Order 66 again.
Ooh,
just want to
yes,
see the.
Just one more time.
yes.
One
Who was?
more time.
Someone was saying that we might see Order 66 on a Sith level or
Oh, from
on like the bad end of it where
yeah,
it's like the clones fighting. Was it in Ahsoka though?
What do you mean on a Sith level?
like
No, I'm talking like I should have said a
we
clone
want to see
level
the bad
where
guy's
where it's
perspective.
the clones that are trying to kill the Jedi. I can't remember if that was going to be Ahsoka or if it was going to be like if it was going to be
Skeleton Crew.
where they showed it like
Oh, it
where
might
the
be a Skeleton
clones
Crew
get
because
Order 66.
yeah,
and
because
then
that would
they
make
have to fight the
sense.
Jedi.
Yeah, that would make sense in
It
Skeleton
might have
Crew.
been that.
Mhm.
I did have a post on this page here asking people about their worst fears and favorite predictions of Ahsoka. This is kind of funny. Toby posts his worst fear would be that Maul survived and the Maul Ahsoka relationship actually becomes canon. I didn't know that was a thing, but cool.
Oh,
I'm
This
good.
other one, he said this was another like a bad theory, but after spending so much time with Ezra, Thrawn decides to turn to the good side and help the rebels. That's an
I don't know that
interesting theory.
I don't know that he would turn good, but maybe if we saw again one of these external threats like the Yuzhan Vong.
What do they call it in the Chiss Ascendancy books? The
Oh
Glisks
God,
or something? The Glicks?
yeah. There's
Something like that,
because they
But there's
have
something that Thrawn is actually like he's actually working with the Empire to make sure that the Chiss don't get
wiped
destroyed
out.
by
Right,
Yeah.
wiped out by this certain thing. So,
And I got into trouble by posting a question asking if we think that Thrawn will be redeemed. and
Oh.
people were like, redeemed for what? He's not, I mean, he seems to be a hero in his own story, and obviously the motivations of why he is teaming up with the Empire are known to the Uber fans that read the book, and casual fans are not aware of why he is present in this galaxy and what he's doing. So it'll be, again, it's really going to be interesting. It'll come down to how they explain everything in a way that obviously casual fans will get it, but then us Uber fans will be like, okay, good, that's out of the way. Now let's
Yeah.
get to the meat of things, because
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how all of that plays out.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe we'll get a crawl for the first
Oh,
time
Oh man.
in a
Um,
series.
yeah,
that could actually help clear up,
yeah.
Clear
or
up a lot of
We
stuff.
definitely need to have a crawl come back, or they'll probably just
Dateline Coruscant.
yes.
Yeah, they'll do the Clone
Do
Wars
the
thing.
Clone Wars
I would love to
voiceover.
see
Or
a
you know what?
crawl.
They'll just explain it in Fortnite.
God. Ugh.
Somehow Ezra returned.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, this has been an amazing chat, guys. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about when it comes to Ahsoka and what you think is going to happen, or what you're excited about, or anything like that? Start with Gro.
No, I'm excited to have more Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. I think she did fantastic, and obviously the fans did kind of fan cast her and did her a favor by,
Pushing for her
pushing for
presence.
her. Yeah, so it's going to be great. I think she's a fantastic actress, and Ahsoka is obviously a character that a lot of people love, and she has been accepted into the Star Wars family relatively easily now. So again, I'm always looking at the cup half full. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have.
Mhm.
And we're gonna do our first review next Saturday with a couple of friends, and I invite everybody to come over and chat after you see the 2 episodes.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Phil, is there anything else that you're looking forward to, or any other predictions, anything like that?
I got nothing as far as like special stuff coming in. Um I've been, like I said, I've been trying to go in fairly clear without diving too much back into spoiler territory. So
Right.
been
Right.
kind of recapping Rebels stuff and just reminding myself of who was where at what point,
Right.
and that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did too. I went back and watched Rebels again. I think it was either my fifth or sixth time watching Rebels all the way through, and I cannot get enough of that show. And the more I watch of it, the more I'm like, oh man, this could happen. This could happen. Oh, this could happen. Oh, this is gonna be great. So, I love that show, and people that haven't watched Rebels definitely need to go check it out. At least maybe check out the essential Rebels episodes, the season premieres and the season finales, and then the couple in between. Um, but it's definitely worth it, and to get caught up with the Ghost crew and who they are and what they're all about,
Mhm.
it's worth the watch. So I did want to mention, Christian here said he was looking forward to flashbacks of Ahsoka and Anakin during the Clone Wars, hoping they show Ahsoka and Luke's first meeting and possibly a never before mentioned reunion between her and Obi-Wan on Tatooine. So that would give us Tatooine again, which would be pretty
Yes.
cool.
Mhm.
But all of those, yes, a first meeting with
Fun
Ahsoka
potential
and
for
Luke.
flashbacks.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the show that's all the show is potential right now. I think a lot of us Star Wars fans are holding it on a pedestal right now, going, "You better be fucking good." But at the same time, we gotta make sure that we curb our expectations a little bit and let
Sure.
the show flow the way it's supposed to flow, and let this story move the way it's supposed to move, because Filoni hasn't let us down yet with Clone Wars, with Rebels, with Mando. He hasn't.
Sure.
He's done a wonderful job. So I can only assume that Ahsoka is gonna be the same. It's gonna give us a lot of fun story, a lot of fun action, and I think it's gonna lead us into an even bigger story and even funner movie. So I'm definitely excited. Ro, why don't you let everybody know in the podcast land where they can find you and your podcast?
Absolutely, podcast land, and actually, I want to push my fellow content creators over at the Red 5 Network. If you guys are really interested in listening to more discussions like this, we are a conglomerate of podcast and content creators. You can find all of us. We are about more than 30 or so at bio.link/red5. Just look for the red 5, the big red 5, wherever you find your other favorite podcast. Here on Twitter, in podcast land, all over the place. But we always have great discussions with like-minded folks like yourselves, and we just love all of us. We just love collaborating and staying geeky.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Phil.
we are Red 5.
Ooh, okay. Noted. Phil, where can people find you and your
Uh,
wonderful face?
right now, most of the time, you can still find me on Twitter at
X.
FlipRider. But these days, I am kind of shifting gears and setting up space on Blue Sky. Same username there. Um, and you can always find my blog at swordsoftheancients.com, where I'm doing a bunch of book reviews, talking about uh, Ren Fair pirate life, and I'm working on a wrap up talking about the Ghost and Amon Amarth concert that was in
Ooh.
Denver last week, because
Nice.
that was an amazing show.
I bet. Was that with
Yeah.
Ghost? Did Ghost
Yeah,
play that one?
yeah.
Nice.
Amon Amarth opened. Ghost was the main act. Second time I've gotten
Yeah.
to see Ghost. First time
Very
seeing
cool.
Amon Amarth. So
Nice.
absolute
That's
blast.
excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. And of course, all of those links will be in the show notes of this podcast. So if you are listening in podcast land, go to the show notes and you can find everything from Phil and Ro down there. And of course, for Quest Me, if you just go to any of your social medias and search Quest Me Podcast, you will find us. Definitely like and subscribe on YouTube, as that is where we are the most active as far as live shows and videos. I have my Ezra is the Inquisitor video up on YouTube, and all of my fun facts that I do. I have a list of Star Wars fun facts that I have been recording and putting up on YouTube as well. So yeah, follow us on all those things, and be sure to tune in next Thursday as we talk about the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. We're gonna have Anthony from the Sci-Fi Wise Guys come on that day and talk with us about those 2 episodes, and then of course we have a cast of characters coming on for this season. Jesse from Crusher Convo, Chris, also from Sci-Fi Wise Guys. We have Nick Kremenik. He is a graphic artist that I met at Comic-Con. Super, super cool guy, and knows his stuff. So I'm excited to have him on. And then, of course, the end of the season, we have Jesse from Open Pike Night and Steve, also known as Sincera, coming on to talk. There's a couple open spots there at the end of the season. So if anyone would like to come on and talk about Ahsoka, go ahead and hit me up, questmepodcast@gmail.com, and I'll get you booked. Or you can DM me anywhere. Any of those social medias, just send me a DM. Be like, hey, yo, I want to come talk about Ahsoka. And I'll be like, hey, yo, this date. And then we'll go from there. So, but I do want to thank you guys for coming on and chatting with me today, Phil and Ro. It's always good to have you on the show. And I want to thank everyone that was in the live chat. It was good to see a bunch of new faces out there. Thanks, Ro, for bringing those guys in.
Hell yeah,
It was
man.
Yeah,
cool.
come
It's
on
always
back.
good to
Come
have
on
new
back.
Thank
faces.
you, Red 5
Um,
Network people.
Yeah, Amanda, Andrew, and extra Star Wars, and we had DJ Red 4.
Baldo.
Yeah, also all sorts of
Whole
fun
bunch
people.
of crew in there.
So thank you guys all for showing up, and for anyone else. God, I lost it there. For anyone else, join us next Thursday for the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. I do not have an outro video, so we're just gonna do a quick little sign off, and we'll I'll point at you. We'll go to Ro, and then we'll go to Phil. So we'll go. So for Quest Me, I have been your host.
And I have been a guest here on Quest Me, and that's the Scuttlebutt.
And I'm Philip K. at FlipWriter.
And of course, my name's Josh, and these sign-offs never go as planned, and sometimes I'm not as prepared as I should be. But thank you all for listening to Quest Me. We will talk at you next week.